Inspired by inclusion. Methods for inclusive non-formal education. Welcome to this tutorial of a method called Cultural Backpack. In this method, the participants deal with personal values. They design their cultural backpack and pack it with different statements. In small groups, the participants exchange their collected statements. Finally, there is a reflection on values. This is a good method to get to know each other better. It is suitable for groups with a minimum of 6 participants, and it takes about 60 minutes. You will need paper bags or envelopes to use as a cultural backpack. Moreover, coloured pencils, flip chart paper, a pinboard, and moderation cards. You should use cards in 2 different shapes, for example round and square ones. You can also use 2 different colours. Write down statements about values on the cards. Find a list of possible sentences in our support material in the description box. Inclusion hint. Ask your participants about their possible support needs in advance. This will help you make the method more inclusive. Make sure the room is accessible and everyone can easily read the cards. You can lay them out on tables and chairs or stick them on the wall. Don't forget to consider the height of wheelchair users. For participants with visual impairments, you can prepare the statements about values in an accessible document. Alternatively, you can form tandems. Pre-written statements or tandem solutions can also be helpful for participants with limited hand mobility. More about this method by our trainer, Chrissy.
Preparation. For preparing this method, write statements about values on moderation cards. Use 2 different shapes or colors. Cultural values that are visible can be written on square cards. For example, I want to express my values through fashion. I'm vegan or I'm punctual. Write cultural values that are not directly visible on round cards. For example, it is important to me to have a good career, I believe in God, or faithfulness in my partnership is important to me. Choose a manageable number of sentences, about 10 to 15. Distribute the cards around the room. Place blank cards and pens next to each sentence. They are for the participants. For a good overview, you can put the sentences on a pinboard. Implementation. You can start at tables or in a circle of chairs. Welcome the participants and give them an overview of the exercise. You can write the steps on a flip chart. Third step. Designing a cultural backpack. Each participant gets a paper bag. This is the personal cultural backpack. They can design it with drawings or writing down things that are important to them. Second step. Collecting and packing. Once everyone has finished designing their backpack, the collection phase begins. The participants go on a small journey through the room, filling their backpacks with the statements laid out, each one alone and in silence. If they want to put the statements in their backpack, they write it down on a new card, or they collect the pre-written statements. This is about becoming more aware of one's own values. Encourage the participants to be honest and not to divide in positive and negative values. Third step. Exchanging personal values. When everyone has finished packing, the participants meet in group of 3. Let them choose who they want to be in the group with. In a small group, the participants should discuss which values they have chosen. This will also help them to get known to each other better. Everyone decides what they want to share and what they want to keep for themselves. Debriefing. At the end, everyone comes together for a reflection. Ask the participants how it was and whether they collected similar statements. Let them sort the cards into square and round ones. Ask them why there could be 2 piles. Can they see a difference between the piles or the statements? Explain the difference between visible and invisible values. You can also talk about the dynamic concept of culture. Write down the most important points from the reflection on the flip chart. The cultural backpack should make clear that cultural values are diverse and individual. I hope you try this method out. Thanks for watching. Get inspired by inclusion.
On the description box, you will find links and support material to implement this method. Inspired by Inclusion is a project by the following partner organizations: Weltwegweiser, Grenzenlos, Invia, BITSEF and Neo-Sapiens. It is co-funded by the Erasmus Plus program of the European Union and by ADA, the Austrian Development Corporation.